Okay, so here we go. Okay, so sorry about that. So here we go. The bandits attack. So, like I said, Night Fox is camouflaged, although I don't know how much good that's going to do him if he's like standing next to Storm Sparrow, so probably not a lot. They were ready with their weapons, so they turn around, ready. Both have their bows ready, and here we go. So let's see here. I'm gonna have to spoil a little bit of it since I'm doing solo. First, the bandit mob attacks the characters, and then the bandit leader attacks. The Kai Lords must defeat both foes separately to achieve victory. If the Kai Lords had time to prepare for the attack, they had discovered the tracks leading north, perhaps, then they have a couple extra options before combat is joined. Okay, so these are the options here. One Kai Lord may elect to clamber onto the wagon that is wholly out of the water. By so doing, well, let's see, these seems like, okay, well, let's see if we can make up our mind, and whatever is closest, the actions, see if they can match these points here. So, we do have the wagons as cover, so Night Fox is going to get behind the wagon, or at least enough of one to get cover, and Storm Sparrow is going to do the same, at least, before they let some arrows fly. So I'm going to get cover. It says that, okay, so they can either shoot twice, each if they have enough arrows at the bandits as they come charging down the hillside. And then one Kai Lord may elect to clamber onto the wagon, wholly out of the water. By doing so, they will take higher ground against any opponents they face. This will give them a +1 modifier to the combat skill, so as long as they remain in this elevated position. Well, we said we're going to take cover, so we didn't necessarily say we were going to climb it. So we're going to get, but maybe I could say, okay, I can ask the DM, and I'd say there's probably a good chance that the referee would allow it, so I'll give him the, well, we still get the bonus if we hide behind the wagon, giving us more cover on our defense. I'd say that's 65%. Yes, so I gotta get under 65. So this will be the, yep, the first digit, second digit. I should have said that in the beginning, but double's usually first digit. But, so 17. So yeah, I get a bonus. At least to the defense. Let's see how that pans out. It says if they don't discover the tracks, go to this. The stats of the base mob, the stats of the bandit mob are based upon the number of players you have in your group. For every Kai Lord in a group, increase the following combat score by a +2, and the endurance by a +2. Okay. Sorry if you can't see that good. Work out the bandit mob statistics now and note them down on a piece of scrap paper, hence why I have this card. So here's your bandit here. For example, if you have 4 Kai Lords in the combat, then they will be attacked by a mob, comprising 5 bandits with a collective combat skill of 14 +2 +2 +2 +2, 22, and an endurance of 16 +2 +2 +2 +2. So that's 5 altogether. 14, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 5 bandits. Okay. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 22. and the endurance of the 5 bandits, hence the 5 numbers, to equal 24. So there's 2 of us. So all the bandits in the first wave fight a single entity. All the bandits fight a single entity. This introduces you and your players to the concept of fighting a grouped enemy rather than the individual adversaries, which makes combat a lot easier and faster because they're fighting as a single entity called a mob. So for every Kai Lord in your group, increase the following combat skill by +2. So it'd be the bandit, it's 14, 15, 16. So that's 2 numbers for 2 bandits. And endurance 16, 17, 18. Okay. Alright. So, let me write that down real quick. Here. Maybe I should get another piece of paper here, but I'll see if I can find it. Or maybe let's do it on this side. So, bandits. Alright. Fort combat skill, CS. Endurance. 16 plus 2 says 18. No, 14 plus 2, 16. I'll put here 14 plus 2. I'll put 2 bandits here. Yeah, and then here endurance 16 plus 2. So that's 18. And 16 plus 2. Okay, 2 for 2. Alright, let's go down to here. Determine the order of battle fighting the bandit mob. Let's see here. Determine the order. Make a list of each of the Kai Lords and the bandit mob. In the order from highest combat skill to lowest. This is the order of battle. If there's a tie between a foe and a Kai Lord goes first. Chances are, unlike the first fight against Andros, the thief, the bandit mob will get to act first. If this isn't the case, skip to step 3. Well, we get the drop on them because we got in position and we got the bows and they're coming down the hill. Okay. So usually it's always the Kai Lords that go first. But let's see here. Based upon that. Alright. So we saw them coming. We knew they were coming. We saw footsteps. So let's see here. Let's put our... Let's see. Kai. Fox. Sparrow. Alright, combat score endurance. Combat score endurance. Okay. So again, rereading this, the statistics for the bandit mob are based upon the number of players you have in group. For every Kai Lord in group, increase combat skill by +2, combat and +2 endurance. Work out the bandit mob statistics now and note them down on a piece of scrap paper. Alright, so +2, so his combat skill. Alright, just going by the base one. Alright, it's 19. Alright. I'll put that in parentheses, 19. And his endurance is 21. We're going to do some plussing though. So now +2. Okay, I would put +2 there as well on both. Same with her. But hold off on that. I'm going to show you why. 18 on her combat skill. And then her endurance is 26. Pretty good. Okay. So we have that bonus. Alright, and their combat skill. Now, instead of like, I'm going to make this easier and just give us the +1 modifier for combat skill as opposed to just defense. Because I got to figure that out probably. It kind of equals into the combat skill, defense. You know, if you think dexterity, you know, you're thinking bonuses. This is different from D&D. It's all part of the combat skill. You're evading and you're fighting. It's all maxed in together. So so that's +2. So they get a +3 because they're adding that +1 modifier that the referee agreed to. Okay, +3. All right. So I think we're going to do pretty good. So that brings us at, let's see here, +3 here, +3 here. Ooh, not on the, I almost made a mistake here. So that's in the combat skill modifier, not the endurance. So it would just be at +2 for the endurance on both of them. Okay, so for the combat skill for Night Fox, 20, 21, 22. The final tally there. And then endurance, alright, 22, 23. Alright, and then yeah, because endurance is included too. A 19, 20, 21 on the combat skill for Sparrow, and then 27, 28 endurance. Alright. Now it's kind of strange. I would think it would just be the combat skill. But I guess that's not the case. It wanted the endurance as well. So there we go. Let's see here. Again, I'm going to reread this part. It says here, our Kai Lord may elect to clamber onto the wagon that's wholly out of the water. They have to take the higher ground. This will give them a +1 modifier to the combat skill. Okay, as long as they remain in this elevated position. So, and then it says Kai Lords with ranged weapons, which they both do, may shoot twice each if they have enough arrows. As the bandits, as they come charging down the hillside. Now, the bandits don't, I don't think they necessarily, I don't know if they have the arrows. Let's see here. All the bandits, bandit acts first. It says here, because of the high, let's see here. Let's see, it's a disorder of battle. There's a tie between the foe and the Kai Lord. The Kai Lord goes first. Alright, chances are, unlike the first fight against Dandros, the thief, the bandit mob will get to act first. If this isn't the case, okay. If this isn't the case, I don't think it's the case, but let's see. Because we have the higher combat scores either way. Boom, boom. So I'm going to say they go first. Not them, we do. Alright, so it says here. Alright. Okay, so the next player acts. Once the bandit mob has acted, the next player on the order of battle may act so as to ask them what they like to do. They can move and attack an opponent. They can use a ranged weapon or do something else entirely. The exception to this rule is the next player to act was already attacked by the a mob this round, in which case they don't get to attack again, although they may still take another action like drinking a potion of lamb spur. Alright, they're not close, at least not yet. Alright, so I'm going to skip that. Alright. It says up here, if the Kylord has a Mind Blast or weapon skill disciplines, they get to add a +2 to their combat skill, too. So now, subtract the bandit mob's combat skill from the Kylord's, and then you get the combat ratio, like we talked about, like we did before. So I think there's a Mind Blast. That one of the characters has. Mind over matter. Mind over matter. No Mind Blast. They're very similar characters. Let's see here. So this tells you about the combat. Pick a random number. Look up the result. Alright. So fire a ranged weapon. There we go. Instead of attacking at close combat, the players could decide to fire a ranged weapon, such as a bow, at the bandit mob. Yep. Compare both of the combat skill scores. You can find them on the action chart. If the Kylord has a weapon skill, bow discipline, they get to add a +2 to their combat skill too. Now subtract the bandit's mob from the skill of the Kylords. The result will be the combat ratio. Make note of it. Alright, then we go through the combat. So here we go. Whew, we are cooking gas. Hold on. So we add another +2 to the combat score only. But let me double check, make sure. I'm pretty sure they're both proficient with the bow. Weapon skill, great. Oh, no, she's only good with the quarterstaff, so she doesn't get it. No. And, oh, she has a bow. She has a quarter. She's just not great at it, so she doesn't do that. He, on the other hand, is good with the bow and a broadsword, so he gets a +2. Yeah, and it says right there, great skill with the bow. I think it's +2. So I'm going to keep that 3 there, but I'm going to add a +2 bow right here. Just differentiate that, because he might end up using his broadsword later when they come in closer. That's if they come in closer, if we haven't defeated them yet. So let's go. Let's go. So I'm going to keep things a little bit more bearable as far as, you know, I don't have a lot of room in here. So I'm going to use the dice, okay? But let's do something else. Let's do something else. I'm going to close my eyes. Now this is something I've done with some of my students. You know, when I play little educational games, I'll make a chart like this. And in my own game that I'm making, pretty much I've made it, but I have to refine it. I have a random number table here. So I'm going to close my eyes. I have to take, you know, this will be the random number method. And we're going to take the shot with our bows. And what does it land on? Mostly 0. Mostly 0. So you got to take my word for it. I closed my eyes and I did it. So the first shot, that's the random number. So it's going to be right down here. Okay. So I got to subtract. All right. 23, 24. So from, let's see, we'll do it over here. 24 minus 16. Now, am I doing this right? Well, make sure. I'll make sure. What does it say here? Kylord's combat skill minus a foe combat skill. All right, so that's the top number. Okay. 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. 8 is the number. Okay. And let's give it a shot here. So the number rolled was 0. This is the number rolled. And the combat is 8. Plus 8 here. So we're going to go all the way down. All right, over here. Okay. The enemy is killed again. Alright, so he killed one of them. So we'll just say down to 1. Alright. Alright, so now Sparrow's going to go. Because it's, you know, they both get the first turn. But they're going to lose their advantage here. So instead of +2, this is going to be 14. And this is going to be 16. Because they're down. Okay. So yeah, they don't take any damage. The bandits get hit. And yeah, actually, I think that's it. She went because that's their combined combat score. So that's them fighting as a group against the bandits. So she doesn't get to go. She just added her bonus there. I mean, because of Night Fox's bow. So there we go. So yeah, that took down one. Okay, so I could say now let's see where they're at. Look at the results. Did that. The other member lists the number lists how many endurance points Kylord loses. Right. Because of he's firing a ranged weapon, this value is ignored. How much he loses because he's a distance away. If the bandit's mob loses any endurance, you as a narrator should make note of this. Yeah. Alright, now let's turn the second person in the order of battle, so ask them what they wish to do. They can now move and attack, use any ranged weapon. Okay, well, okay, do it exactly how you did the first player. Although each Kylord gets to attack the bandit mob, in turn, the bandit mob does not get to attack every Kylord. So from the second player onwards, do not inflict damage indicated on the combat results. On the Kylords, just on the bandit mob. Once the second player's action has been resolved, move on to the third player of the list and so on until the bandit mob is wiped out. Okay. So I was wrong. She gets to go. Because they're fighting as a mob against us. And when we get the stats, yeah, so we get to go. Okay, alright. So 19, 20, 21. So they're down a guy. So 21. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, yeah, I'm just going to keep with what I had here. 21 plus it's 14. I'm sorry, not plus. Where am I getting the plus from? I'm all screwed up. I'm all over the place. Sorry, guys. 21 minus 14. All right. So 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. That's a combat ratio there. That's still pretty good. That's pretty high. So let's do a roll this time. Since I did the token flip, let's do the dice tower. Since I rarely use this. Here we go. Ooh. Yeah, it's a 7. 7 there. Alright. So let me do a cross-reference of the 7. 7, and I think it was a 7 combat ratio. So let's take a look here. Let's see what we got. So we'll see what we see. So 7's up here to the left, and then a 7 still. So go all the way to the right. Enemy took 14 still. Lone Wolf 0, so that's dead. Took out that wave. Alright. So those 2 dudes coming in, gone. And they did a good job. They got behind some cover and they took some shots, and both arrows landed perfectly and they killed the bandits. They're pretty badass. Alright. Alright, let's go on. Good job. Let's see here. Once everyone has acted, sorry, we can't see it that good. Once everyone has acted, if everyone has to go, including the bandit mob, and the bandit mob are still up and fighting, return to the top of the order battle and repeat the sequence. So basically, you're just doing that same thing again and again. Because every time you roll that dice, they could land an arrow, or they can come up and hit them. You know, because that's what's so awesome. I could have rolled low, right? Maybe a 2, cross-reference to a 7. Enemy would have taken 8, but the Lone Wolf, the Kai would have taken a -3. Okay? Whether it's on Night Fox's turn or Sparrow's turn, Storm Sparrow turn. So, okay. Once everyone's in, okay, ending the combat. When the combat mob is reduced to 0 endurance, this section of the combat will end. But the combat is not yet over, because we have a bandit leader that approaches. Okay? Once they have defeated the bandit mob, the players will see the bandit leader approaching. He is armed with a large bladed, long-hafted axe. It's a long-hafted axe, and he looks very mean indeed. Never heard of a hafted axe before, but okay. Some new words being thrown at me. Here's the stats, the bandit leader. Still, you know, a little bit higher, but not by much. You must fight the bandit leader in close combat, because he is already too near for them to effectively use any ranged weapon. You can resolve the combat using the previous sequence. Once again, the bandit leader may well act before the players do. So let me take a little break here, and we'll get to that. Okay, so I got the tokens here. That's the bandit leader. That's Fox, that's Sparrow. They're up against, fighting next to each other. Alright, here. A little visual there for you. Now, I already worked through this a bit. He's not using the bow anymore, so that bonus is gone. He just has the +1 because of Sparrow is fighting along with her. So that still gives him a bonus of 1. So that comes out to 20. So his skill is 20 minus 20 is 0. Alright. And with her, she gets a +2 still because she's using her quarterstaff, which she has a discipline in. So, plus his bonus gives it +3, 19, 20, 21. So 20 minus 21 is a ratio, combat ratio 1. He's going to go after him first. Alright. So, let's do this. And let's do, because it's fun, let's do the tray. Whenever I'm at home, I like to play with the tray. If I go out to get something to eat and role play, I just do the dice mostly. But when I'm at home, I like to use this. So here we go. And I'm going to use his. I'm going to use this as this is the villain, so I'm going to use his token here. Here we go. Combat ratio of 0. And he's mostly covering, what's that? 5. Ooh, that's a right in between there. 5. So yeah, this is the number rolled. And then this is the ratio, which is ratio is 0 against Night Fox. 5. Stop here. Enemy takes 7. Kai takes -2. So he takes 2 hit points. His endurance is down to 21. Ugh. Hacks into his shoulder a bit. But he thrusts his broadsword and he gouges at his chest, and he connects really good. And that brings him down to 21 endurance points. Alright. So that's the end of his turn. Now it's our turn. Fox is going to go. Well, Sparrow's going to go. Because they kind of went back and forth. Sparrow didn't really have his turn. Because that's his damage that he did to him. You know, Sparrow's going to go. So here we go, Sparrow. It can get a little confusing. It can get a little confusing sometimes. So who's supposed to go when? That's the only thing about it. But once you play it enough, you get the gist of it. So there we go. I like the logo here. And that's a 3. That's kind of low. You usually want to go high with these numbers. So again, the combat ratio against, well, her, it's a 1, and she rolled a 3 here. So 3, 1, 6. He still took a lot of damage, but she took 3. Okay, but you see what happened there? He had already done damage against him when he attacked, so that was kind of his turn there. So she's going. So you're gonna have 6. He's hurt bad. He got clunked over the back of the head there. Alright, 21, 20, 19, 18. Alright. Alright, so. Yeah, she took 3. It's right here. She's got a lot of endurance. So. 5. So she's down to 25. Alright. Alright, now whose turn is it? He went against him, and now she went against him. So I would say it's back on his turn again. Okay. And I'm going to say he's going to go against Storm Sparrow. Alright. So let's see. So you get a little confusing here. I'm not gonna lie, it get a little confusing. Hopefully, I'm playing it right. So he goes against, let's see, Storm Sparrow now. Well, see, that's the problem. That's the problem there. Doing this, you gotta really kind of watch what you're doing, because that token just went flying. Hold on. Let me see if I can get it. If I could see it on the ground there. That's kind of a tough one with this method. You got to have room to use this thing. Let me redo that. That wasn't much of a flip. Alright. Now, I'd say it's mostly covering this one right here. 4. Okay, so he did a 4. Against her, again, 1 combat ratio there, and a 4. So, 4, 1, he took 7 damage, and she took 3. So, that's 2, 23. Or 3 minus 25. Oh, wait a minute. That's wrong. 5, 4, 3, 2. There you go, 22. And then he took 4, he took 7. Yeah, he took 7. Which he got beat up and retaliated on. So there you go. 15 minus 7. I believe that is... Wait a minute. Uh-oh. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. Yeah, 8. I was right. 8. Jeez. Forget my terrible arithmetic. Slow arithmetic here. So yeah. 18. Gosh damn it. 8. He's down to 8. So he's beat pretty bad. So really, I could do a morale check. I could use this for a morale check if I wanted to. But let's just continue on. And now, so he took it. Now it's Fox's turn. He's going to take a shot at him with his broadsword. And how can you not say broadsword after that Hero Quest video? It's just ingrained in us now. Okay, here we go. And most of it's covering this one right here, 6, which is pretty good. That's pretty high. So 6, and it's a combat ratio of 0. And it's right there, and the 6, 8, and he takes 2. So the enemy takes 8, and he takes 2. He gets hacked into the chest a little bit there. It gives him 19. And then he's defeated as his broadsword finds its mark like it did with that thief previously. He's honed his skill, and his arm splays out, and he collapses onto the ground in a bloody heap. Ugh. There you go. Dead. And yeah. Very good. Very good. Everything's fallen. So, they defeated him, and what do you think? Let me know. Do you think I did everything right? I think I did. I'm pretty sure. It's still, it still gets a little rocky, playing it. But the more you play it, I like how fast the combat is. It's pretty good. So let me go. Again, everything's all over the place. It's hard to keep things organized sometimes. Let's see. Victory. Victory to the Kai Lords. Once Logrim the Bloody, he's bloody alright, has been killed, the players may follow the trail left by the heavily laden horses, and the men assigned to escort them. Their tracks lead away into the hills in the north, the side of the Lake Helmar. Read the following aloud. Okay, I assume they see that. Okay. It's an easy trail to follow. The hoof prints and footprints can readily be seen in the soft soil at the lake's edge. After no more than 15 minutes spent following this trail, you happen upon a forest track that leads directly to the bandits' encampment. It appears to be deserted, save for 8 horses that are corralled, and in an area ringed by a crude fence constructed from shaved logs. There are several tents nearby, as well as smoldering remains of 3 campfires. All right, we check those tents to see what they got there. You search the tents and discover the cargoes that were looted from the merchant wagons at the lakeside. You also discovered 3 tired and anxious-looking merchants. Their wrists have been bound with rope, and they are further bound by additional lengths of rope to the central tent post. Okay, well, we'll cut them free, and we say, we're Kai Lords, we're here to help. The players have found Travis, the surviving merchants, enthusiastically. The captive merchants cheer their welcome arrival. Travis says, Kai be praised! We did not dare to hope that we'd be rescued by such an esteemed party of young Kai Lords. Come, untie us. Well, I guess you did. Let us gather our belongings. Bury our fallen brother and leave this dreadful encampment. This whole misadventure will teach us not to leave the road again. We were so wary of attack on the road, we left the path and ended up walking right into an ambush instead. What do the players want to do now? And I'll just stop it right there. So I'll kind of reread what he said. Let's get into Kylords come, untie us, gather belongings, bad fallen brother, dreadful encampment. This whole misadventure will teach us not to leave the road again. We were so weary of the attack on the road. We left the path and ended up walking straight to the ambush instead. They were so weary of the attack on the road that they left the path, and that's where they got screwed up. Okay, so their anxieties and their fears got the better of them, and that's how they got in that situation. So, Night Fox shows him the cloak of his fallen comrade, and he says, "We were going to take this to the monastery to, to show our brothers and sisters, what affiliation of merchants he belonged to, and he gives it back to him. Unfortunately, this will have to be buried with him, and we are so sorry what has happened to your fallen comrades." And Storm Sparrow chimes in as well. She says, "We are so sorry, and it's just quite a loss that you've sustained." And so they comfort the men, and they ask them, maybe if they can accompany us to the nearest road, back to the Kai Monastery. Okay, so let's ask them what to do. Do they untie the merchants? Yes, they do. And accompany them back to Lake Helmar to help them bury the murdered companions? Oh, I don't know if we actually did that. No. Ask them if what they're going to do with the bodies of the dead. Ask them what they're going to do with the bodies of the dead. Travis insists that the corpses are left where they fell. He says that the woodland creatures will dispose of them all in good time. Do the players agree with this somewhat callous suggestion? Well, we never really asked that. We just asked them to go back to the road, so that never really came up. But if that came up, then that's the answer to that. So they're just going to leave them out there and not bury them. But if they knew that, and they assumed that these people were going to bury, but I guess he did say something. Night Fox said something like, "This will be with his burial, unfortunately," and I guess that could lead to this saying, "Well, we're going to leave them where they fall, and let the woodland creatures dispose of them." And I guess Storm Sparrow would say, "Oh, please do not, please bury them, please. And it is our custom to just leave their bodies is disgraceful." And she gets so kind of angry. And Night Fox calms her and says, "We'll help you bury the bodies if you need them. They should be buried." All right. And the conclusion of the scene presents the players with an opportunity to interact with Travis and the other merchants, and they have rescued from captivity. Allow them some time to role play with the merchants, which we just kind of did, as they retrieve the body of Melciar, their likable companion, and bury his remains at the lake's edge, side by side with the four fallen bodyguards, which Night Fox and Storm, I keep wanting to say Storm Shadow, Storm Sparrow, agree to help bury the bodies, because it is customary, to bury your dead. Storm Sparrow is kind of shaking her head, like, what are these merchants all about? They can't even bury their own people. But anyway, she keeps it kind of to herself after kind of getting a little angry there. So the next video we'll go to scene 6, which will close it out, and then I'll kind of go over some things, maybe some things down here, some of the footnotes, because I passed up reading those a little bit, and tactics, and describing, exciting combat. So, which I think I did a little bit there, without slowing the game down too long. So thanks for watching. Thanks for being patient with me. There was a lot of back and forth with the paperwork a little bit there, and hopefully I did it right. I'm going to reread it, make sure I did everything correctly. If not, not worried about it, but I'll try to bring it up. Yeah, let me know what you think, and keep on solo questing. See you in the next video.